Hey y'all. Um, Today we'll be discussing 10 patchouli fragrances. I'm not going to spend too much time on them because of a terrible fear that this video could run forever. Um, but these are interesting suggestions. You hear a lot about patchouli. If you hear, it's because you like perfume, and you have almost certainly smelled a patchouli dominant fragrance. And if you haven't smelled a patchouli dominant fragrance, you've almost certainly smelled a fragrance with patchouli in and where it's been noticeable. And I want to just show these 10 patchoulis that I own that I really like. I really like the note of patchouli, and the breadth of scope that it has in perfume, what you can do by using a patchouli note in your perfume, what you can base it, what the difference in perfume you can do when you use patchouli as a base or in the mid to create different kinds of perfumes. I think patchouli was first brought over in the 1800s, if I'm correct. It was used to protect rugs on ships from being eaten by moths. It was used to keep away moths. Which is quite interesting. And the only reason I know that, now I'm assuming that was the first time it came in the West. It came to the West from the East. And I am saying this, and the reason that I am saying this is because I heard that as part of the story for the first fragrance I'm about to show you, which is a new bottle of Serge Lutens. Look at that. Absolutely imposing. Looks like it's watching you, doesn't it? This is Serge Lutens. There's a little sneak peek at the next one. This is Borneo 1834. And apparently this is that's the story that they used patchouli on like trading ships to keep the moths away from eating the rugs. So that's quite interesting. This particular patchouli has chocolate and French labdanum, and I don't know what the difference between French labdanum and the rest of the labdanums is, but this is absolutely beautiful. It smells a little bit narcotic with the chocolate and the sweetness. You can make patchouli go in different directions depending on what you pair it with. This uses, like I said, chocolate and labdanum, and it gives it this almost like sweet, narcotic, dangerous sort of smell. The chocolate feels a bit more like a dark chocolate, but still just a touch sweet. It feels like the patchouli sweetening the chocolate rather than the other way around, if that makes sense. And it's a big unit, a big tall bottle. The collector in us would have preferred another bottle because it used to come in these bottles, and I would have preferred that. But you will pay absolutely outrageous prices if you can find one in that bottle, and it's just not worth it. I mean, these are decent reformulations, and I'm happy to have that, and I got it at a really good price. Try not to pay full retail for these. They do pop up elsewhere, but they want £280, and whatever that converts to the dollar. Obviously, it'll be more expensive in America because for some reason they think they can rip the Americans off with perfume prices. It's always a bit more expensive over there. But yes, the way this is, patchouli's all about what it's used with, and this is got a slightly narcotic sort of hazy sort of vibe, but it can also be quite sharp. Like, I know I'm getting into that sort of like heroin-y sort of vibe, but like that's not what I mean. It's a very beautiful fragrance though. So I would suggest that you try this if you can. Next is, obviously you've seen it. This is the big boy. This is Patchouli Imperial by Dior. This is the 2011 version made by Demaché, which shows that he can do it, but he just doesn't bother anymore. This is Patchouli Leaf. These are like, I'm rhyming off what I get from it that it's paired with. So Patchouli Leaf mixed with sandalwood and coriander and bergamot. It is a little fresh. Do you know what it is? I might not even bother. There we go. That was dangerous. This is a little bit fresh at the top, which is so strange when you consider what it dries down to. It becomes very like, not medicinal, but quite like clean. Because patchouli can do that as well. It can be a little astringent if you want it to, depending on what you pair it with. And this has got patchouli leaf, sandalwood, coriander, and bergamot. And the coriander and the bergamot are at the very top. And so it can come off a little clean, a little fresh at the top. And it's quite nice. It's a different change. And it's very different from what Dior are making today. This has got heft. It'll last all day. Obviously, you can reapply when you've got they only do it in either like 125, 250, or 450 bottles, 450 ml bottles. So you can do with it what you please. And it's a lovely colour. Most patchoulis are that lovely, or a lovely colour. And this one's no different. It's a lovely brown sort of. I don't want to say whiskey because it's a little darker than that. It's got a strange ambery depth to it. But yes, this is really nice. Try to get the older bottle if you can't try the newer bottle, but it is thinner, the new one. So next we go to this. And I was put onto this by Scented Moments, Zhao from Scented Moments. Forgive us, I've got his channel. This is Patchouli by Perfume and Roma. He does love this house. And it is linear. That very few of these actually change from top to bottom, but fortunately they come straight out the gate smelling absolutely beautiful, so it's not a problem, you know. And this is lovely. This is a very thick patchouli. There's another patchouli in here like this, but not exactly the same as this. Which I will get on towards the end. This is a little bit like, this has also got like a slight dryness at the top. It's a little dusty, but it's also a little clean as well. The Italians really know how to do patchouli. There is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of these houses are Italian houses. So 4 out of 10 ain't bad, and I really do appreciate the way the Italians use their patchouli. Guess what one of the other ones is? This has got patchouli, amber, and sandalwood. Patchouli and sandalwood is an absolutely amazing mixture. Very rich, very thick, very resinous, very, very deep, very a little gloopy at the base. A little gloopy, yes. And I really like this one. I haven't used as much of it as I am. Well, I was just about to say haven't used as much of it as I'm going to, but you know what I mean. This is beautiful, and I'm actually really looking forward to wearing this. A lot of these fragrances I prefer to wear. I mean, we're at the end of September now. I'm filming this on the 29th of September 2021, so I would like really to get to mid-October, but it is really cold here at the minute, so I might have to start busting these out soon, which is no bad thing, because I do love to wear these. Patchouli's really grown on us recently, and this one is absolutely amazing. Very thick, very warm, but dry at the top as well. So yes. Next one is an absolute classic, and yes, I do have a vintage bottle of it, and it's it's one of the two most complicated fragrances and complex fragrances in this list. Is it? Yeah, it is a list, I suppose. This is vintage opium. This has a lot going on, but the main notes that I get with the patchouli are big cloves at the top, very clean, almost astringent cloves at the top. Off you come. And then a spicy carnation that leads into the patchouli. There are other huge notes in here, but they're the three that I get most with this fragrance. Certainly, that's like what I get most. It's completely different now. Well, I say it's completely different now. It is different now. But it's much more of a patchouli, like a slightly spiced patchouli now. But this version has all sorts going on. It's very complex, very perfumey. This smells like something you would have to dress up. You couldn't, you go, I mean, you can wear it with what you like if you want to, but this smells like something you would wear out, you know, and somewhere you were going to try and dress up and make an impression. This is a perfume I wouldn't dare to review yet, because it's so complicated, it's so multifaceted, there's so much going on, it's so rich, and it's got such a huge, it deserves its reputation for what it is. Is it narcotic? I don't know that it's as narcotic, because when I think narcotic, I think heavy, thick, billowy clouds, and this has got a lot. This has got so much more than that going on. It's a very special perfume. This, as is the men's. I think the men's is more narcotic than the females. But I appreciate what the vibe they're going for. Next, Pavarotti. One of the best fragrances I've ever smelled. One of the best male fragrances. A woman could wear this easily as well. It's jovial. It's happy. It's got depth though. It's got the full palette. You know. This will treat you as you treat it. If you wear this in a good mood, it will smell happy. If you wear this in a bad mood, you will smell big, and you will smell not imposing, but people will know you are there. It's paired with patchouli, benzoin, and oak moss. So of course I love it. Pavarotti's head is doing all sorts at the state of that, but that's 90s engineering for you. It's just so good. It smells like food. It's like it is a huge gourmand. People say that Amen was the first gourmand. This came out before Amen. And so it's very hard. It's very strange to say that, but I suppose this didn't have the clearly didn't have the impact that Amen had. But it is an absolutely beautiful fragrance, honey from the top to the bottom, patchouli, benzoin, or benzoin, and the oak moss as well to give it like that sort of masculine sort of feel. It's absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite fragrances, and I suggest everybody try to find it. Next, I mean, from the sublime to the sublime, it's Balenciaga Pour Homme. This isn't a huge patchouli fragrance, but what the patchouli does in this fragrance, it reaches into all parts of it, from the top to the mid to the bottom, and everything bounces off it. The main notes I get from this are cinnamon, patchouli, and honey. Although, again, like Opium, there's a hell of a lot more going on. It lasts all day. It's thick. It's butch in the same way that... Why aren't you focusing? Behave yourself. So it's big, it's butch, it's strong. It looks... That turquoise sort of colour there, that, like, the darker elements to the lighter, that sort of... To me, that sort of comes like... That like... It doesn't define the fragrance, but it's very good visual representation of the fragrance. It's dark, but it's slightly off what you're used to. You don't see that colour every day, and you don't smell this perfume every day. You won't smell anything like this perfume every day. Let's have a smell. Oh, God, it's so good. It's slightly powdery patchouli. It's rich. I mean, it's not slightly rich. It's extremely rich. It's strong. It's powerful. It smells like it smells like a classy man, but a very strong, classy man as well. Yeah, I'm again another perfume I'm scared to review in case I don't do it justice. But yes, I'm building up. I need to find some perfumes that I'm not worried to review. So yes. Next, you stand next to the Pavarotti. Good lad. Next, I'm going to do a perfume I just mentioned. I've got loads of backups of this. I've got a refill for this. This is the Thierry Mugler version, believe that. Oh, there's me. Hello. Big smile. This is the Thierry Mugler version. The Mugler version's an absolute aberration. It's rubbish. This perfume is meant to be huge. This perfume feels like it should be able to beat you up. It smells like my dad's harder than your dad. That's what it smells. It's big, it's strong, it's vulgar, it's over the top. It's like Thierry Mugler's fashion creations. It's dangerous, it's strong, it's powerful, it's overwhelming, and that's what it should be. It's also my scent of the day, but I took from the wee bottle, a little 30ml, a little rascal. Absolutely beautiful. Also, again, if you can't spray this, right, all you do is give it to somebody who can, and you definitely don't cut that off because you're not strong enough, you're not big enough, and you're not hard enough to wear this. But if you can't spray that, unlucky, right? You just can't wear it. Just grow a set. I would actually quite like to smell this on a woman, which is a strange thing to say after everything I've just said. But yes, gentlemen, if you can't spray that, it's like the sword and the stone. It will only be worn by people who deserve to wear it. So if there are women who can fucking work that sprayer and you can't, well, tough. That's your problem, men. So women, if you can wear that, I would like to smell this on a woman. I think it would be absolutely beautiful on a woman. So yes, try it if you can. It comes with, there are 2 lots of patchouli in this. There's patchouli in the mid and the base. And it's also paired with like coffee and caramel and vanilla. And it's got that outrageous tar note in it. The first time I smelled this, I thought, who the fuck would want to smell like this? It was awful, and then I was just drawn back to it. I remember going to the shop about 3 times, being like, give us a smell of that. First time I was repulsed, the second time I was intrigued, and the third time I was in love. It's just absolutely amazing. To think this came from a designer house now, the shite that they put out now, to think this came from a designer house is baffling. I mean, all the ones that I've said so far, apart from Patchouli and Pavarotti, came from a designer house. But this one especially, this is outrageous. I'm going to review this because I feel so, like I'm so convinced of it. You can hear it in my voice. I can hear it in my own voice. It's ridiculous, but it is absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful fragrance, and it remains to this day, like its star, its influence remains to this day. So it's also a fucking fingerprint magnet. The metal version. I really love the bottles as well. The bottles are brilliant. Moving on, next one, little Frederick Mall. Because I don't know if you've ever saw the stream with me and Eugene and Galen, where we talked about perfumes we're looking forward to wearing this year. I am looking forward to wearing this. This is a completely different kind of patchouli. This is harsh. This is scratchy. It's astringent. It's almost bone dry. It's outrageous. It's really strong. I shouldn't say it's outrageous because Frederick Mall's got a fragrance called Outrageous, hasn't he? I wish that it's all the fragrances with the best names are the wrong perfumes. It's like Tom Ford's fucking fabulous. It's Tom fucking fabulous isn't fucking fabulous. He could have named any of his other perfumes that, and it would have been a better use of the name. But there we are. This is called Monsieur. It's paired with rum and tangerine, and I think it's the incense that gives it that dryness, that scratchiness, that sort of like, I'm clawing at the inside of your nose. I'm gonna pull the hairs out and like the mucous membrane. I'm having it get out. You know what I mean? I love the boozy note as well because the booze sort of saves it from going too far. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, but I don't know that I want a full bottle. I've had 2 of these. This is my second one of these. Focus. You bitch you. Monsieur, that's right. Fantastic perfume. Very, very interesting take on... I mean, it's as far away from 1834, Borneo 1834 by Serge Lutens as you can get from a patchouli. They're almost diametrically opposed. One's dank and like thick, and this one's like scratchy and like ethereal, and it's that incense in it. This is another shining example of what you can do with patchouli when depending on what you pair it with. And going to the complete opposite end of the spectrum again is one of my favorite fragrances, period. And this is from a niche house, and I absolutely love it. This is Real Patchouli. It's Real Patchouli, not real patchouli. It's Real Patchouli. Royal means royal in Italian. And this is mixed with amber and sandalwood and patchouli, and it feels like, do you know when you get juice and a little bit spills on the outside of the carton or the bottle or whatever you've got, and then it's like it's thick fruit juice, and then it turns and like the water evaporates and you're left with like a thick residue. That's what this feels like. This feels like amber, patchouli, sandalwood residue. It's so thick and so warm and so nice. I'm scared to wear this though because I don't know if they've reformulated it, and if I have reformulated it, I couldn't wear a reformulated. This is the problem I have with fragrances, that I love them too much, and I get scared to wear the ones I love the most. Apart from Pavarotti though, because I've got loads of bottles of that. That's why I like to stock up on bottles, so I feel like I can wear them. They're not going to go away, and I'm not going to be stuck with like crappy reformulations. Because it's stung when that's happened before. But anyway, this is absolutely beautiful. I would highly suggest you try this. Whoops, where were you going? The bottle's nice. Ooh, does not want to be held. No idea what the bottom says as far as being able to figure out when it was made or anything like that. I might get in touch with the brand and just ask them to send us a 10-year-old bottle. Apparently these were made from recipes from the 1920s. And the guy's granddad or great-granddad made them. If he did, cheers for that, mate, because this is beautiful. Apparently the vetiver one's really nice as well. Also got one of the scariest named perfumes I've ever heard of, which is Sushi Imperial. I mean, I don't know how many bottles of that you're going to sell based on the name alone, but there we are. And last but not least is a designer, an Italian designer. Again, this is an Italian house. Pavarotti's obviously an Italian house. Patchouli, Perfume Roma, that's an Italian house. And this is an Italian house, I believe, which is Clitzy Moods. I was put on this by Duncan, who goes by the name Fritz the Cat, with a picture of Richard Pryor, just so you don't forget who he is. I've put on this. I blind bought it because we've got really similar taste to Trusty's nose, and this is absolutely immense. This is a spicy patchouli. This has got a big note breakdown as well. This is patchouli is the main player, but it's paired with a huge cardamom at the top, and then a ginger in the middle, and the ginger gives it this sort of like an almost boozy sort of like vibe to it when it's paired. It's beautifully blended. And it's like, it smells very different. It's a spicy patchouli, that cardamom, and I think there's something else in the top as well, which escapes us right now. But it's absolutely beautiful. You can pick these up at not ludicrous prices. at the minute on various sites that sell these things. But yeah, it's got oak moss and leather in the dry down as well. It's got big leather, so you can pair patchouli with like leather as well, like a leather patchouli. Absolutely unbelievable. And this smells fresh, but like without being light. It smells dark without being heavy. It's a brilliant designer fragrance. It's just hard to accept now how bad most designer fragrances are. I can't remember the last time I was use the word inspired, but like excited by a designer fragrance. But yes, these are my 10. I shall show you them. As Borneo, 1834, Patchouli Imperial by Dior, Patchouli Perfume and Aroma, YSL's Opium, Pavarotti, Balenciaga, Amen, Monsieur, Bois, beautiful. I might wear this tomorrow actually, but it's still cold. And then Clitzy and Moods. So yes, I did say I didn't want this to run for ages, but it's going to be my longest video that I've ever made. So bollocks to me. And I hope you enjoy this video. I'd be surprised if you watch it all, but please do. Maybe watch when you're cooking or before you're going to bed. You can listen to my dulcet tones. I'm not going to hurt you. Anyway, thanks very much. I will make a new video soon. Possibly about one of my... I've got a haul coming, possibly Friday. Just a little haul. And then I've got a couple of the new arrivals I could tell you about as well. I managed to get a couple of rare beasts. Like one of them's a really rare thing. You know about it, but it's rare. So thanks very much for watching. If you made it this far, thank you. If you haven't, you know what you can do. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.